Our next speaker is Acting Director General of Department of Trade and Industry, South Africa, Mr.Younus Hoosain. Please come to the stage, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I was not told to speak, but when Brother Rafiq invites you to speak, you can never say no. So, my dear respected elders, brothers and sisters, I spoke in many languages today because I'm welcoming the BRICS Summit into South Africa. But tonight is a special occasion to celebrate the 76th anniversary of Pakistan. So as they say in a language, Jeete Rahe Pakistan. So Pakistan Zindabad. So Brother Rafiq, you can tell me whether I should speak in English or Urdu.
Up to you.
Okay. I think many people spoke in Urdu, so let me talk on English. My role is today to congratulate you on your 76th anniversary. And you look at it, South Africa is a country that has 30 years of democracy. Pakistan, 76 years. So you can see, if I take an analogy of the USA, where the USA was in 30 years and where Pakistan is in 76 years, we do have severe challenges and constraints, but we are in a better position where the US was in 30 years or 76 years. So what I would like to say also, secondly, mine is to say a very warm welcome to the High Commissioner of the Hoosain Khan to South Africa. What you will find in South Africa is a home. We won't say it's a second home because it is a home. When you travel the length and breadth of this country, you see the fauna and flora, the people of this country, and wonderful people like the Pakistan Southern African Trade Federation. You'll find that there's great love and muhabbat in this country for the people of Pakistan. So my job is always to expand trade and investment, and that is my forte. But what I would like to talk about, given that you gave me the mic when I was not supposed to speak today, is to say earlier on today when I was at a different program, the two themes were on growth and prosperity. So when you look at the volumes of trade between South Africa and Pakistan, it's very low. It's at a very low base. It's very, very low added. What we're looking for is to accelerate working together with the Trade Federation, with the government of Pakistan, to accelerate trade to more higher added value, complementary composition of trade. And that is what we'd like to see. Because you as entrepreneurs, you're taking the advantage of the first mover advantage. Because this continent is a continent in 2025 that will have 1.5 billion people. A significant youthful dividend, a higher literacy population. Today, Africa has 98% mobile capability or people that have phones. But it also has significant challenges and constraints which brings about opportunities. And I spoke today on energy, for example. When you look at energy, South Africa has an energy deficit of 6,400 megawatts. The continent itself, having 1.5 billion population in 2025, half of that population does not have electricity. So it's a significant opportunity across the board in energy. And that is what we're looking to work with countries and companies on electricity alone. I know a number of sectors that I can talk to, but electricity is the main one, because if you don't have electricity, you can't do anything. So what we're trying to say is that in Africa itself, Africa has a funding deficit of over $25 billion a year for electricity. And herein lies a significant opportunity for us to work on electricity. And what we want to do is, when you look at the growth parallels, that's why I said two things, growth and prosperity. When you have growth, and in Islamic terms, when you're in business, first thing in business needs to be halal rizq. Second thing in growth and in prosperity, it needs to be equality, it needs to be sustainable, and it needs to be leads to a higher level of economic development. So when we talk about the energy transition, firstly, there are many scholars here that are studying. They'll tell you about the just transition or zero transition. The transition itself has to be just. The transition itself has to be sustainable. The transition itself has to be equal. And the transition, more importantly, has to remove people from poverty. So our energy transition in South Africa needs to be inclusive and not lead to poverty. We will be doing generations to come an injustice if we go the route the way we're going. So when we look at Pakistan, I know I'm diverting, but when we look at Pakistan in another sector, for example, somebody said earlier on, pharmaceuticals. Now, in pharmaceuticals, there are two areas, or three areas, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and what you call medical devices or medical consumables. In Pakistan, you are very good in medical devices. And that is a sector of medical equipment. And that is a sector where we want to work with you in South Africa. Because when you look at this continent, in this continent, for example, there is no API capability in Africa. We import all the vaccines, we make a few today, but there is no API capability. So we need to do the entire value chain. And we want to work with you in Pakistan, for example, in the pharmaceutical value chain, in the medical devices value chain. And I will be happy to work with you in that. So, this, as I said, I don't know why he asked me to speak, because in trade and investment I can speak for hours or this thing. But what the pandemic has taught us and what we're seeing today is that you have this continent. This continent is the second largest continent after Asia. It has the fastest growing economies. It has, I would say in 2025, 1.5 billion people. That is your market. So you need to establish a regional hub. And where do you establish the regional hub? It starts here in South Africa for you to work in the African continent. And what we learned across many sectors and across the economy, and you're seeing the global crisis in Ukraine and Russia, the global supply chains today are becoming shorter. So what you need is global supply chains will become regional supply chains. And regional supply chains then become local supply chains. So in order for you to do business on the African continent, South Africa offers you a wonderful investment case to start an operating very sound legal system, sound financial system, sound infrastructure, which we're still upgrading. So we offer you a great opportunity. We have a number of special economic zones, some tax benefits that we can help you with. So we're ready to work with you, and we're glad that you've invited me today, this evening, to speak to the Chamber or Trade Federation under Brother Rafiq Memon. So thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you. as the Federation as well as with the High Commission. But High Commissioner, a very warm welcome to you to South Africa. I'm sure you love your tenure here in South Africa. And when inshallah we are alive, when it's time for you to go back, you will call me and say, I'm not going back. I'm staying in South Africa. Thank you very much.